Okay, so guys, I'm gonna be doing a kind of sort of vehicle guide, but then based on my experience. So this video is kind of gonna be divided over different sections. I'm gonna be going from sort of like noob to pro in vehicles, mainly prices, but also speed differences, and steering as well, mechanics in the things. Disclaimer though, jets will probably not be in this, just because jets are just really bad in chapter 2. You can't spawn them like that often because you have to wait 2 minutes. But since they're so big, a lot of the times there's something in the way and you have to wait the whole 2 minutes. It's kind of just sucky. Plus there's literally helicopter spawn right on top of the criminal base. So jets will not really be included in this. They'll be last. Right, starting out though, if you're a starting out player, and like you just joined the game, escape prison, stuff like that, right? The thing you're gonna be robbing the most with is gonna have to be the helicopter. It's the thing that early game is gonna get you around the city the fastest. Now, because you already have the helicopter, I suggest you also get a good vehicle to get you back to the criminal base from a robbery, which I usually prefer cars to do that. Well, I use hyperglider, but that's like your ultimate goal, right? And I highly recommend one of these 3 vehicles in the muscle shop, actually. Like, you could do this one. I'm not sure what this one's called, but this one's really nice to use. You could be using this one. I don't think I have this one. No, I don't. And then you could also do this one if you wanted to. I only have this one. I'm not even sure what it's called. But do know that these are really viable options, especially as a replacement for the Camaro. This will really help you in like speed differences. Steering as well. I actually find their steering like a lot better than the Camaro, as well as drifting. It's also nice. The second thing you're gonna be wanting to do, and I'm gonna have to pull out my hyperglider here for. Now, keep in mind, this is just something that this is not what you have to do. As in, like, it's not something that I recommend you do. You do what you want, man. Like, if you want to stick around with the starter vehicles until you have like 100 million, go for it. I'm not stopping you. It's just that these are good steps, intermediate steps, if you will, that you could take in your vehicle development, if you wanted to, that is. But for this vehicle, I'm gonna have to go over to the airport, because it's actually gonna involve the Scout, which is right here. This thing costs 500,000. Yeah, I know that's a big jump. But since you've already got a nice ground vehicle and don't really need to focus on that anymore, I'd say focus on this one, because compared to the regular helicopter, this thing has great, and I mean great, speed difference. Like, this thing is a lot, and I mean a lot faster than the regular helicopter is. And so this thing will help you out, like, a lot. Like, a whole lot. Also, this thing is pretty small, so you could actually use it more often to spawn it. You will get less notifications of it saying there's stuff in the way. Moving on, if you are, and like I said, you don't have to necessarily do this, but if you then want to take another intermediate step, you could go for the, whatchamacallit, Roadster, which is right over here, but you don't have to. If you want to go from the Scout straight to something like the Nero or the Fury, you could also do that. The thing is, the Nero and the Fury both are really, really, really expensive. And this thing would be a nice intermediate step, considering this thing actually has a very decent speed for its price. Don't mind the piggy car. I made this into a piggy car in one of my videos. And so, now it's really up to you. Did you, like... From here, it really gets to your own choice, really. If you don't grind the Roadster, and you just want, like, the Nero or the Fury straight away, I can go there real quick. Then you could also do that. That's actually what I did. But that's because I don't even know why. I don't even remember why anymore. I just wanted one of them and I went for it. Fun fact, I actually had the Nighthawk before I had the Nero. Yes, I did. Alright, anyway, where is this thing at? Alright, it's right here. So, you could go straight from the Scout to one of these. This is not necessarily recommended as a nice intermediate step. You could take the Roadster though, but if you don't want to take the Roadster, you want to go jump straight to one of these, that's also fine. But after that, you really should start to get your eyes on the Cobra, which is at the airport. Because the Cobra is... What the heck is happening? I can apparently drive on walls. Wow, I did not know that. Alright, well... Because the Cobra is actually... Well, again, really good compared to the other helicopters that I've showed. This one right here. This right here is what I'm using to this day. And I'm still using it a lot. Like... This thing is... Well, it has decent speed, first of all. This thing's speed is way better. Also, the steering gets better. The steering is, like, really fast on this thing. So that's also nice, something I like about this. Also, this is be used as a... if you're a cop or a hero, then you could use this to camp the criminal base. I don't recommend it, because it's annoying, but you could do it. This is a vehicle used for that. This is a... I guess it's an okay PvP vehicle as well, but just getting it for getting around the map is already really good. But this really depends on you. If you want to go from the Scout to this thing, you could also do that, but you could also go from the Scout to one of the other vehicles that I showed before, so like the Roadster, the Fury, or the Nero. And by the way, for those who asking like, oh, which one should I go for, Nero or Fury? Well, it's whichever you prefer the design of. Because really there's like almost no speed difference unless you time it. You don't notice it at all unless you time it. So there's really not that much difference between the Fury and the Nero. I personally went with the Nero. I like the Nero a little bit better. But yeah. Right, and from here it really starts becoming your own choice. Do you want to start farming for some like lower tier vehicles that you saw that you thought were really cool? Do you want to start getting like vehicles like the Hyperglider, which is really recommended, by the way? I would say that if you have the Cobra and you have a nice car like let's say Knight Rider could also work, but that's not really recommended. Let's say the Nero here, that's also okay. Like if you have a nice car and you have a nice heli like the Cobra, and you have this, you can pretty much go for whatever you want. I recommend going for the Hyperglider, but if you don't want to, you could also just not do that. Something I do want to point out though is that as a beginner, getting the free vehicle cars, such as the Odyssey, such as the Pipeline, such as the... Was this free? I'm not sure. This one was free, I know that. This one was level 50 reward, you can get that one for free. Go-Kart you could get for free. Commutator you could get for free. Ruin you could get for free. Like there's a bunch of vehicles you can get for free. As a starting out player, those are really good as well. So if you want to go save straight for a helicopter, you could do that. It's just recommended that you upgrade your car to at least something like the thing I spawned before, which is the Mustang I have. So yeah, that's basically going to wrap it up. Jets, I do want to talk about jets. This is kind of like the overkill part of the video. If you are really a tryhard now, and like you've gotten everything you want, what I recommend doing is getting PvP vehicles. What that means is like getting stuff like the Knight Rider, getting stuff like the I'll actually fly my way over there. Like the Knight Rider is a very good PvP vehicle, especially for the boat. I use it a lot for the boat. And then like if you want to go all out, you could go to the airport. Actually no, it's not at the airport, never mind. The A-10 is not at the airport, never mind. The A-10 is a really, like, I hear good PvP vehicle. It is one you can only spawn 2 minutes though, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty big as well. But, hold on, let me see. Go over here. Yep, there it is. So you could also go all out and then get something like this right here. The A-10. This thing right here is apparently really broken. I don't have it myself. I'm actually currently saving up for it. Apparently it's a really good PvP vehicle. I've seen some videos of it, shooting like, well, exploding rockets. It seems really cool, which is actually why I'm saving up for it as well. Also, I'll let you guys decide which vehicle I needed to save up for. So yeah, and then moving on for like more jets and stuff, like here's the Warhawk, for example. Buying jets unless you're just kind of bored of Mad City and you have everything you want slash need, getting something like the Warhawk is really just like overkill, not necessary, kind of a waste as well because you can't spawn it too often. But yeah, that's about it. That's my vehicle guide. Yay. Finally did one, guys. I can't really, because like you guys are probably wondering, like, okay, so if I'm gonna buy like a vehicle at the beginning, let's say in the muscle store, if I go over there, if you buy a vehicle at the muscle store, then you probably want to know like which one should I buy, and for that I kind of have just one answer for you, and that is probably whichever you prefer the design of. Just make sure you don't buy the Shelby over there. Because really these don't make too much speed difference at all. I have this one, you could get this one, you could get this one as well. I'm not sure what they're called, but it's whatever. Yeah, the speed difference between those is kind of the speed difference between the Nero and the Fury. It's almost just not there. Right, and then yeah, the rest is kind of, there are a lot of vehicles that I did not mention in this video. And that's kind of because I went over the main vehicles that are being used in Mad City currently. For example, I see these vehicles, surprisingly, I see these vehicles a lot. And I say surprisingly, but I'm actually not that surprised because they're actually nice intermediate steps for you to take. And if you do those intermediate steps, yeah, sure, with all the cash you saved up for all these vehicles that you bought as intermediate steps, you could have saved up a lot of cash. But let's be honest, you're saving up a lot of cash a lot quicker now that you've bought these vehicles. Or at least. And by the way, I did not take any of these intermediate steps. I just went straight from like, I remember buying the Scout for 250,000, then I went straight for 1 million, then I went straight for 6 million, and then I went straight for 3 million for the Nero. 6 million for the Nighthawk, and 1 million for the, at the time, was a pretty good jet. I forget the name. Falcon. Falcon is the name. I saved up for that one. I kind of just saved up for what I found looking cool, and that's what I do want to end this video off with. Please don't take this video too seriously, as in don't take this as like, okay, I have to do this because this is how you're supposed to play the game. That's not true at all. If you want to stay with the starter vehicles, like I said, you can totally do that. It's not an issue. Do what you like. It's just that this is some intermediate steps you could take to get your account upgraded in Mad City. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. Hope you now know what vehicles you want slash need to buy. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys some other time.